Hey, this is Stacia, and today I have a real treat for you guys. I'm going to show you my favorite chess game ever. This is the game of Wilhelm Steinitz against Curt Von Bardeleben. This is played in the famous tournament Hastings 1895. I learned about this game from Grandmaster Ben Finegold. Check out his streams or his YouTube channel. He's an amazing teacher. And and I've been teaching this game for like 4 years since I was first introduced to it. It is definitely the most amazing chess game I have ever seen, and it's also extremely instructional, and there's even a twist at the end. We're going to do this guess the move format, but we won't start that until the middle game. So I hope that you're ready to enjoy a chess game, but also be challenged and learn from it. So this game opened with e4. Steinitz played this against Curt Von Bardeleben. He played e5, knight to f3, and knight c6, and bishop c4. So we have an Italian game on board. Everything's totally fine and normal so far. Bishop c5, and I would play b4 here because I'm crazy. I like Evans' gambit. But Steinitz played c3, which is also a very good move, very testing move, fighting for the center with d4, preparing d4. So knight to f6, and after d4, it goes takes, and check. And now here, grandmasters like to play bishop to d2, challenging the bishop, and allowing an exchange like this, which makes a lot of sense. But in the game, we have knight to c3, which is the move that I play. So you know it's kind of crazy. Because knight c3 is, it's a sneaky, not so sneaky trap. It looks like a blunder because black could choose to play knight takes c4 here. That knight is pinned, so we cannot recapture. But what we can do is castle here. Now this didn't happen in the game, but I want to show you why this is dangerous. This is called the Muller attack, and I've had many quick blitz wins with the Muller attack. And I've even had a couple tournament wins with it. And so it's very dangerous. I'll just show you a sample line. Like, for example, let's say that black says, I'm crushing you on c3, and I'm going to take and attack your rook. Okay, well, in this position, we don't have rook e1 check, but we do have knight g5. And they have to be really careful here. If they take the rook, we have rook e1 check. It doesn't take a genius to see that this is not good. Like after something like knight e7 and queen h5, you really want to castle, but if you castle, checkmate. So it's just not good, trust me, on that one. But if they see that rook e1 check is coming and they just simply castle, it's not much better, honestly, because I won't save my rook. I'll just play queen h5. Again, if you take the rook, it's checkmate. So a lot of players will do something like, what will they do here? Oh, h6, of course. This is what they do. I'll check with the engine. Yeah, this is right. Okay, so in this position, I would definitely play knight takes f7. That does attack a queen. So people like to take with the rook. Now that rook is pinned, which is nice, but I don't even honestly care too much about that. I could just simply play bishop takes f7, and I like this a lot. Now if they go king f8, it's a little more complicated, but it's still winning, trust me. But when they go king h8, I just love it because boom, checkmate. And that's it, game over. So the Muller attack is actually dangerous. And the reason I'm showing you this is because you should be aware that grabbing pawns when your king's in the center and your pieces aren't developed, and this piece is out of the game or whatever, is, it's a little risky. You got to be careful because once white castles, the sense of initiative, gets very severe. Anyway, let's go back to the actual game. In knight c3, Von Bardeleben actually was scared of the Muller attack, and he did not go into that. He played d5. This is probably the best move. After d5, Steinitz plays e takes d5, and now don't blink because a lot of the pieces are about to disappear off the board. Knight takes d5, castle, bishop e6, bishop g5 attacking the queen. Oh no, bishop e7 retreating, and now boom, 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 boom. And here is where I would like to start our guess the move. And this is exactly what I do with the kids as well. Now we are going to play guess the move. Tell me what you think about this position, and then I'll tell you what I think about it. Pause your video if you like, and give me your answer now. Okay, so when I ask you that question, what I'm looking for is I want you to tell me elements in the position. I want you to tell me white is castled, black is not castled, but black's only a single move away from castling either direction, right? Another thing I want you to tell me is that this pawn is isolated. It's an isolated queen pawn, and it's a bit weak, and with some pieces traded off, especially minor pieces, this pawn is definitely a target, and it's not exactly a dream IQP position. So the conclusion from this should be that, yeah, actually black stands maybe a little better, mostly because of this. That's what I'm looking for. But it's white's turn, and white can make a move here. And I have to tell you, it doesn't seem like white should have some move that like creates advantage, but white absolutely does. And the advantage persists. And in fact, this becomes the most wild attacking game I have ever seen, if you can believe it. And like a lot of the minor pieces are gone. It looks so sterile, right? So if you want to pause your video again and try to find the move that Steinitz played, go ahead and do so now. If you found rook e1, congrats to you. That is the first point. So you earn 1 point out of 1 for rook e1. Why? It pins a knight. And now if black tries to castle, which they desperately want to do, it doesn't matter which way they go, we are going to win a free knight. So they can't do that. So this rook e1 move, it creates a pin, but it also just stops castling. And that is what we call keeping the initiative, keeping the pressure on black. And yeah, I like it a lot. Now you can see the arrow because I have the game inputted, but Von Bardeleben plays f6. Now Ben Finegold would cringe and say never play f6. Okay, there's drawbacks to playing f6, but in this position there's a specific idea, and the idea is he realized he can't castle, but he also realized he doesn't want to stay in this pin, which was pretty astute of him. He's a good player. So he wants to go king f7. That is the point. The pawn is no longer there, so let's play king f7, right? Then we can castle by hand and play something like rook e8 and even king g8 if you want to. But yeah, so his idea is to castle by hand in this position. All right, so f6, and here I'm not going to ask you to guess the move. We pile on the pin piece. Queen e2 is the obvious move. Queen d7, whoops, not that one. Queen d7, protecting the knight, by Von Bardeleben was played, and now rook ac1 by Steinitz, and now c6 by Von Bardeleben. And you might be amazed, but I have to tell you that this move c6 is actually the losing move of the game. And if that seems impossible or very unlikely, yeah, just watch how the game continues. This is the losing move. He had one chance to go king f7 and get out of this pin, and it's now. And he did not do that. So after rook c1, c6, I'm not even sure why he played this move, to be honest with you. I mean, he's planning on playing king f7 and knight there. I don't know. It's too slow, though. So I don't know. But so now we're at our second guess the move. So if you like to pause your video and find the brilliant and only winning move played by Steinitz, go ahead and do so now. Okay, are you ready? The move has to do with putting pressure on the pin piece, but also improving our pieces. Grandmasters love to improve their pieces. And what are we going to do with this knight on f3? We can't really go here or here. If we go knight h4 and threaten knight f5, which looks amazing, I'd love to get knight f5, then they go g6, right? And that just stops it. So we can't play that move. So yeah, Lee Chess is giving it away now. It's the move d5. So what is this move? What is this move? Well, first of all, they cannot take with the queen because, you know, checkmate's bad for black. But they could take with a pawn here, and they do. So what was the point of our sacrifice? We just sacked a pawn. Why are we doing this? Because it was a forcing move, and because the knight belongs on d5. Now that's a square for a knight, right? I just said d5. It's d4. Okay. So that never happened. I said d4 the whole time. Knight d4. And okay. So now we really are threatening knight to f5, and that will win material. They would need time to go get that. So black plays king f7. This is the obvious move by black, right? Break the pin. If we're threatening to attack the pin piece, break the pin. Okay, but Steinitz had an idea here, and this is our third move. So let's see how you score. White to move. This is the only good move in the position. Pause your video if you like. Okay, like I tell my students, there's two ways to outpost a knight in chess, but also we need to make a threat. Like, we need to keep initiative here. The first way to outpost a knight is to station it where a pawn protects it. The other way, though, is station it on a file that you control. Now, we control both these files. I don't see any yummy squares on the C file. That's, you know, covered. But we do have yummy squares in the E file. We have this square right here, knight to E6. And the knight is also guarding C7, which threatens rook C7. And that is going to be a crushing blow. So if you found knight to E6, congrats. That was the only good move in the position. And now it's black's turn. Von Bardeleben in the game, he decides to play rook h to c8. This move makes a lot of sense because he saw rook c7 coming, right? So now rook c7 isn't so good because, you know, they take it. All right. So once again, I want to pass it to you to guess the move. This is number 4. How do we keep the initiative in this position? If you'd like to pause your video, do so now. So there's actually a semi-good move, which is knight c5. Knight c5 is like a pretty good move. Attacks the queen. The queen's defending the knight. This looks kind of iffy. They probably have to go here or something. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, we can then take the pawn, attack the queen. All right, but that is actually not the move played in the game. The move in the game the computer likes a lot more. And that's the move queen to g4. So if you found that, chalk up a point for yourself. So this comes with tempo, and that is very important in positions like this where you have your opponent under pressure. You want to keep the initiative and keep them under pressure. Queen g4 absolutely does that. First of all, we're just threatening to check, and that's going to be mate in a couple moves. So I think it's mate in 2, actually. Check that. Yeah, it's definitely mate in 2. So they have to stop that. And the second thing is that we're lined up with this queen, which is unprotected, and we're threatening knight f5 check, right? And that could potentially win the queen. So in this position, Von Bardeleben's like, yo, I don't want queen g7. So he plays g6. Okay, so they stop that threat, but Steinitz goes knight g5 check. And he played king g8, and they won the queen. No, just kidding. No, you have to go king e8 here, and that is what Von Bardeleben did. But this is the beauty of this, right? Like you can see that king e8 saves the queen, but then you look at the position, you're like, that pin you just got out of, yeah, guess what? You're back in the pin. That pin is there again. Sorry about your bad luck. And not only that, look at the pawns on the king side. They're pushed up. So this is like, you know, very sketchy for black. That being said, it's kind of a crazy position, right? The knight's hanging, the queen's hanging. Black can also take there whenever they want, which would relieve the pin. So white is, you know, this is a very sharp, concrete position. So after king to e8, it's time for guess the move. Number 5. What would you like to do here as white? Guess what? Steinitz finds a brilliant move here. If you can find it, go ahead and try. Okay, if you found this move, you're a better chess player than me, because this is very hard to understand. It's the move. Rook takes e7 check. I don't even ask my students to guess this move because I wouldn't find it myself. I would not find this move. That's crazy. But this is why I like Steinitz. He's like Morphy in a lot of ways, but later he plays a lot more positional. Morphy never really got to that stage. I think he died in a bathtub first, but let's not talk about that. There's 2 ways to take this rook. If you take with the queen, then we have this amazing variation, right? Like you've just uncovered 2 attackers on the rook. So I will definitely take that. Take that threatens, you know, checkmate. So we have to take that as well. We take it. Okay. The king cannot retreat. The knight's got that covered. So they block with the queen. Let's just trade off. I've got a knight. I can retreat my knight. I can probably just play, I mean, I might be able to take the pawn, but even just knight to f3, we're up a piece. Black has no pieces. This should be winning, and I'll ask the computer now. Yeah, +6, +6. So it's definitely just completely winning for white. Now, so you cannot take with a queen here, but you could try it with a king, right? Like, why not? If you try with a king, then I don't have the engine on, so this is going to be suspicious, but I think you go rook e1 check. If you go this way, you know, I just win a queen. That seems good to me. So you have to protect the queen with like something like king to e8, but if you do that, I think knight e6 check looks pretty good, right? What do? This is now taken. You have to step on the e file, and then we have discoveries. So like, let's say here, for example, I would definitely play knight c5 check. That attacks the queen. It's just discovered check. That's going to win the queen. So game over. So you can't do that one. So you pretty much have to go, I think, king d6. That's what I think. And okay, I'll just use the engine now because this one's harder for me. The engine says like, just go like queen b4 check. Okay. And then it gives rook c5 blocking, which, okay. And then queen f4 check. And then king c6. And then rook e6 check. Boom. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. The queen's actually guarding the square. So where do you go? You have to go king b5. All right. Now I understand. I mean, I would play a4 check in 1 second. King a5. Okay. I'm pretty convinced now. I think I would just go b4 check. I mean, that's already a pawn fork. They're also going to get mated, so we can end there. So you cannot take with the queen, and you cannot take with a king. That was the best possible line in that variation, by the way. So he played after rook takes, this is the game now. After this, check. You cannot take with a queen and you cannot take with a king. King f8. King f8. It's time for guess the move. If you can guess this move, you are just brilliant. Okay, this, because the continuation from here is insane. Okay, and this will be the last guess the move until the final challenge, the final boss. Okay, if you came up with this move, you are amazing. It's definitely not knight takes h7 because this is just not fancy enough. Okay, they take our rook and we can play rook e1 check. I understand this, and this does actually look like advantage for white still. Like if king d8, I think queen b4, going for this maybe is an option. I'm not really sure, but it does feel like white's still good here. That king's too weird, black pieces are too weird, but it's not knight h6. You know what it is this move. This is great. This time taking with the king is illegal, and if you take with a queen, you don't lose your queen, because if we take it, it's checkmate. So I hope you didn't think that. You can't block like this, you know, swing and a miss. So so actually the real threat is that after queen takes, we do the same thing as before. We play rook takes c8 check, takes check, and now what do? You pretty much got to block again. If you block again, we have a knight. I just saved my knight. Okay, this is winning. So you cannot take it again. It's just crazy, right? This is why I love this game. And now I'm going to show the next sequence because it's just insane. After check, king g8, and yeah, of course, we do it again. This time, if you take with the king, you just, I was going to say you lose your queen, but I'm not so sure about that. Because this, and isn't there checkmate? Oh, it's check. Never mind. That's check. Okay, I'm good at chess, I swear. But I missed that. All right, so we take the queen with check. Okay, and if you take with a king, well, in this position, no, that's what we just looked at. If you take with a queen, it's going to be the same as before. Take, take. Yeah, it's just the same thing, right? Knight f3. I don't care where the knight goes. It might have better, but we at least have knight f3. We're up a knight. This is winning once again. So you cannot take the rook. So this is how this last sequence has gone so far. Rook takes knight, you can't take it. King f8. Rook check, you can't take it. The king goes here. Rook check, you cannot take it. King h8, guess what? This continues. Rook takes h7. It's the same stuff again. And then king g8 and rook g7 check. So is this a draw then? Like king h8 and just draw? No, it is not a draw. When the king goes to h8 and we take the pawn on h7 and we come back and check again, the position is different now. We now have an open h file. It's all the difference. So after this move, I have to tell you that in the actual game, black just simply, actually it's kind of funny, they did not resign. You know what they did? Von Bardeleben, he raised his hand. Okay, I'm thinking about I'm giving this a Scholastic tournament lens. It's like as if a kid like raised their hand and they go, I have to go to the bathroom. And then the tournament director, which is me, says, yeah, go to the bathroom, it's fine. And they go to the bathroom and they just never come back. That is what Von Bardeleben did here. He went to the bathroom and he never returned. And that was it. So, so game over. So, but let's go ahead and look, because after king h8, you can't really go king f8, I don't think, because there's knight h7 check now. And I don't think this is going to be good for you. If you take the rook, we take with check. That's going to be bad. So king h8 is probably the best bet, but this is equally not bad. But now here is the final challenge for you. I would love to hear your scores in the comments. This is number 7, I believe. And this is checkmate in 9 moves. Now I will give you the hint that there's 2 main variations that you must give. If you don't see both of them, then your answer is incorrect. You have to see both. So go ahead and find checkmate in 9 moves. It's very forcing, so it's not as hard as it sounds. Good luck. Okay, so I'm not going to try to do this myself because I want to give you the answer accurately. But if you found queen h4 check, which is 1, king takes rook, check 2, king f8 forced, and then 3, 4, king e8 only move, 5, and now only move, we have this move, 6, and now we have a choice. This is where it splits because the king can go to d8 or it could go to d6. Let's look at d6 first. I feel like this one's kind of easier. Here we just have mate in 2. We can go queen check. That's kind of mate. Like, what do? You can block with the queen, but checkmate. Okay, so king d6 is no good, but on king e8, yeah, it's mate in 3 now. Queen f8 check. You can block with the queen, is kind of the only move, and then we go. Okay, actually, I was wrong about this one. Knight f7. I was going to say queen d6 check. I like queen d6 check. This is 1 move slower because of queen d7, knight e6, king e8. This one, that's checkmate. Okay, if you found that, that counts. I'm happy with that one, but that's mate in 10. This one, though, is let's see, queen f8 here. Knight f7 check is even better. The queen is pinned, it cannot take the knight. So where did they go? You cannot go here. This is the only move, king d7. And now we have queen d6, checkmate. If you found that, you get 3 out of 3 on the final boss. If you found any of the, if you found 2 mates, but they were slightly slower, you get 2 points. If you found the mates after messing up once, you get 1 point. If you didn't find it, you get 0 on the final boss. But this is really hard stuff, so congrats. I hope you enjoyed the game. And as usual, we'll do a quick recap because I want to explain, you know, why Steinitz won this game. Okay, the opening was the opening, but let's get to the main position. Yeah, like after knight takes, Steinitz had a very incredible understanding of the initiative and how to put pressure on his opponent. A lot of people, I think, today will look at this position and be like, oh, this is like kind of equal. Maybe black's better because of the weak pawn. Yeah, but Steinitz played rook e1, and he just, this pin became fatal. It just became absolutely fatal. And like f6, totally logical, right? And then he puts pressure on it, and then just plays d5, clearance sacrifice. So seeing that how strong this idea is. And I don't even think you need to potentially calculate here to know that d5 is the right move, because if you just think about improving your pieces, like where is this knight going to go? And you see that knight h4 is met by g6. Then to maximize your pieces and try to put pressure on the pinned piece, you see this idea, and d5 becomes very apparent. So I don't think you have to calculate necessarily to find this move. I could find it in a blitz game now. I really believe that. I have played moves like this. All right, so after takes, knight d4, and look what happens. The knight comes into the 6th rank. We have a very concrete threat. They stop it, and we have a concrete threat. So like textbook, keep the initiative here. G6, this keeps the initiative once again, because guess what? That king has to step into the very pin they just escaped, right? Like, so I imagine that around here, Von Bardeleben started getting frustrated because I'm sure he thought he was doing fine, before that move d5. And he probably just missed d5 because it's hard to see. And then the sack is just ridiculous, right? I mean, maybe he thought the sack was stupid. And then it turns out that it's just plain brilliant. You cannot take either way. I mean, I've seen kamikaze rooks, but I have not seen, where's the right move? It goes here. Yeah, I mean, I have not seen a kamikaze rook in a middle game except for this game. It's the only time I've ever seen it. And I mean, to finish up with a mate 9 with both players saw it even. It's just incredible. So I hope that you guys enjoy this game as much as me. Hopefully you can learn from it. We've got the clearance sacrifice. It also demonstrates how calculation is very, very important in chess, and how to keep the initiative. It has so many critical themes. It's my very favorite game. Hope you loved it, and I'll be back with more chess. So I'll see you later. Okay, bye.